Hello, boys and girls. It's your Uncle Clivey Wivey here. I'm afraid the boys over at Spectrum Days can't be bothered to make a new video today because it's the summer and they're off sunning themselves and having fun and things like that. So they've put together this best of, which I'm sure is very educational and interesting if you care to listen to the clips of videos and podcasts that you've already heard or watched or listened to before. So here they are again, some bits that you might not have heard that are very funny and interesting, all put together. How nice.
This was brilliant.
It was brilliant. I know we say this every time, but this surely is the one. This will be the one where we play it and we come away from it going, yeah, it's still flipping amazing. Surely.
It was amazing at the time.
Yeah.
I think it was the only time I was ever interested in athletics, really. The Daley Thompson era.
The Daley Thompson, which is 1980 to 1984. He was in both two Olympics, wasn't it? I say both Olympics. That's the only ones that ever happened.
The only ones, yeah.
It's the only one I remember. 1980 and 1984, that was it. The rest of them don't count. Well, yeah, this is where it gets really weird, though, isn't it? Because it's not a new game, is it? It's basically a rip-off of track and field, isn't it? So the game was already there. They didn't really have to do much other than copy this game.
Even more reason they must have rushed it out in time for the Olympics, so that all of us Olympic fans would have gone out and bought it.
I don't know. I'd like someone to. I'd love someone in the comments who knows more about this title than us to let us know when it came out in 1984. Was it a Christmas release? In which case, it would have been a few months after, because the Summer Olympics is in the summer. It's in the name.
Yeah, July,
or did it come out
in August?
Yeah, or did it come out in time for the actual Olympics itself? It'd be interesting to know. I don't recall. I would have been 9, I believe, then.
But I do have a list of the different events. 100 metres, a long jump, a shot put, high jump, and 400 metres. And then day 2, 110 hurdles, pole vault, discus, javelin, and 1,500 metres. So
110 hurdles?
Well, that's what. Actually, that can't be right. That must be a typo in the notes.
No, that just must. I think you'll find that's 110 meters of hurdles. That can't be 110 hurdles, because surely that would be longer than the 1,500 meters. I mean, wow! You wouldn't be looking forward to day 2, would you?
Yeah, you're right.
100 meters day 1. I've done the long jump. I've done the shot put. I've done the high jump. I've done the 400 meters. Tomorrow I've got to start with 110 hurdles before the pole vault. Oh God!
It would take them ages to put them all out as well. And all the stadiums would have to have a huge storeroom. So it might have been 110 metres rather than 110 hurdles.
Yeah, it's 110 metres because the hurdles take up a bit of space, don't they?
Yeah, and they would take ages.
Otherwise, it'd be 100 metres. Yeah.
They'd never. So it seems like a lot of content compared to the Spectrum games we played recently. And it's quite varied because the running ones obviously can reuse the same mechanic, but then the long jump, shot put, high jump, discus, javelin, pole vault, they're all quite, a little bit different. So it's quite a lot of content there. Must have had hours.
Yeah, they're really not, are they? It sounds like they're different, but they're not. It's left, right, left, right, left, right. Press the action button, hold it down till you get 45 degrees and let it go. That is the game.
Yeah, you're right.
That's how it works. It's track and field. I think we did vaguely mention earlier on in our ramblings that it's track and field. It is just track and field. If you don't know what track and field is, it's the same as Daley Thompson's decathlon.
But it came first.
I think, didn't track and field... I don't know, did track and field have swimming in it? Or no, I suppose that's the follow-up, Hypersports. Was it Hypersports had the swimming in it?
Yeah.
But yeah, Track and Field was who made Track and Field? Konami, an arcade game, wasn't it? Track and Field came out year or two before this.
Yeah,
I think. I have very fond memories of Track and Field, mainly because it's the only game my dad ever played in the arcade.
Do you think we should describe the game for those that don't know where the Exploding Fist
surely
is?
Everyone knows this game.
You say that every episode.
Oh, I do, that's true. But that's because every game we're picking is like ones that loom large in our mind as being a good game, and then we find out they're really hard and we can't play them and hate them. I know that's too long a title for the podcast. It won't quite fit in. It doesn't fit in the YouTube thing at the top. If anyone has only just started listening to our podcast, this is where we witter on. This is the section where we try and desperately try to remember what we were doing when we were 10 or maybe 11. I think Chris is a year older than me.
Yeah, I was 11 where the Exploding Fist came out.
Producer John hiding there in the background. You're a year younger than me, so we're sort of a year apart, aren't we? So you were probably 9 or something.
He would have been
8.
Yeah, or 8, I think. Yeah.
So we were all at the age where this would have been definitely the first fighting game that we were playing, which is what it is. It's, I suppose, to use a modern equivalent, I suppose, would be Street Fighter. We were just talking about that off air as this was sort of our Street Fighter. For those of you who are sort of teenagers, early teens, mid-teens in the early 90s, then Street Fighter would have been the game that everyone was talking about, that and Mortal Kombat. Well, back when we were 8, 9 and 11 or whatever we were, it would have been this game. It was a couple of years before Barbarian and IK Plus, which are other games that we were mentioning off mic. It's much slower, not entirely surprisingly, but I think it's slightly deliberate that it's slower than something like Street Fighter, because it's based sort of karate, isn't it? Really, it's not a fantasy beat 'em up in the way that Street Fighter. There's no fireballs or anything extravagant like that. But what it did do that was very different, and really, as far as I can remember, hadn't been done before, it was complex. I seem to remember, I was just talking about having 2 people on the keyboard. It wasn't just left, right, up, down, and fire, which the vast majority of games at the time were. In fact, some were only left and right and fire, and that was about it. But this, I think it was Q, W, E, A, D, X, Z, X, C. So you were using the keys that actually nowadays people are using if you're playing Call of Duty or that lot, using the keyboard and mouse. So you got your backwards, forwards. So Q, W, E, A, D, Z, X, C. Am I making it sound nice and easy? Because I know you said this was going to be a good one. This is going to be one that you can play.
This is random.
It's not random at all. It's not random.
It's just 3 minutes.
I'd like everyone who's listening to look down at their keyboard now. Anyone listening to a podcast or watching this on YouTube.
It's WASD.
QWE AD ZXC. It's easy. And one was attack.
Those are all rubbish.
No, it's not. Is that you got up, left, up, right.
Is that
left,
for
right,
two?
Down,
is that
left,
because of
down,
2 player?
Down, right. So you've got all the corners. So you got backwards and forwards.
all squished to the left-hand side of the keyboard.
Yeah, so you could fit another person over the other ruddy side. Yeah.
Surely you had a joystick as well.
Well, yeah, you could have done if you were middle class like you and had 2 joysticks lying around. You had your Kempston expansion thing in the back and your Fire Pro 2 and your Quick Shot. But people like us who just resorting to a rubber key, no joystick, you had to fit 2 people. The other person had, I expect you can probably work this out for yourselves, I think it was IOP JL.
This is important information, everyone.
No, but look, you wanted to tell people what the game was about. I'm fairly sure everyone who's tuned in to this program called Spectrum Days knows what game we're talking about.
Well, we could link out to a blog post where you can describe the keys.
Oh no, I want to carry on for another 5 minutes talking about the keys, so that everyone's very clear.
So it was QWE.
Yeah, Q is up left. W is up. So you could jump, but you could jump. I think you had to crouch to jump, but one was the attack button. So anyway, so if you combined the attack button, which was number 1 on the keyboard, with any of those directions, you did a different hit. So if you were walking forward, you did a punch, or you could crouch and punch, or you could sweep, you could do a leg sweep, you could jump and kick, I think. And if you did press back, so A in this case was back, if you were the player on the left, and attack, I think that was the roundhouse that you were talking about. But it'd be reversed for the other person. So it was always a fight to be on the left, because that made much more sense, going QWE ADZXC. It's obvious, isn't it? Anyone looking at the keyboard, that's making sense. It's only Chris that doesn't make sense to. He tried to play Horace Goes Skiing with 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and wondered why he couldn't get anywhere.
Is there a shin kick in this game, or was that was that innovation brought in by Sega?
People won't understand.
Altered Beast.
People won't understand the shin kick reference.
Best shin kick implementation is in
Altered Beast.
Altered Beast. If anyone wants to check that out,
you will then understand the beauty of the power of the shin kick.
Yeah, that's about it, really. You,
I was going to say, you're stretching it out here, mate.
Yeah. Sorry, you lose. Yeah, yes.
You've basically described the whole game. That is it. That is Horace Goes Skiing. You cross a road, you go skiing, and then you cross a road, and then you go skiing, and then you cross a road, and then you go skiing, and then you scream and shout, and you die. That is Horace Goes Skiing.
Yeah, that's a better description. You're right.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Good night. So when you do go down,
there are some intricacies. To say the word in the downhill section of Horace Goes Skiing. There's these sort of little jump things, aren't there? The little jumps.
Yeah, little jumps made out of.
I know you lot can't see us, but we're both doing the same little symbol with our fingers, because it's just like a sort of squashed L on the screen.
Like a little pyramid made out of like 16 black pixels.
You leap high into the air when you go anywhere near them.
Yeah.
Because the crash detection is so appalling. And the trees look quite small and detailed, but actually they're just one big square block.
Yeah.
That's the hit detection. It's like a inch square block. You go anywhere near the flipping tree, you will die. And when you don't die, you just break your skis. If you're unlucky. If you're lucky, you get the legend comes up, oh, Horace hasn't broken his skis. You're right, you carry on. Oh, off I go then. And then you hit something else innocuous, like a bit of snow, and your skis break.
If they do
and then
break,
you're back to the road. You've got to cross the road again.
Yeah, if they break, you're back to the road.
I don't know why is he going to this ski shop where the f***ing skis are that rubbish that you hit some snow or a flag and your bloody skis break and you got to go and get more.
Well, look at it the other way. When you fully hit a tree, you're lucky. Oh, your skis are okay. Horace himself would be dead, you know.
Yeah, but he hasn't got any arms. We established this.
Oh, that's
He's all right. He's got no arms to break. He just goes a flump.
Yeah,
that's it. He's fine.
That's right.
Just gets up. How does this guy get up?
Yeah, I think
to start skiing.
That's true. I think off air we learnt that he doesn't actually have arms, and the thing that I thought may have been an arm is just his quiff, just his hairstyle, which ties back, ties in with
flick.
They should have just done a Shakin' Stevens spin-off with this as well. Since Shaky Stevens had his own game, right? Yeah.
Horace goes to the hairdressers. I think that would have been an excellent game. Horace plays the keyboard in a new wave band. Look, I haven't finished drilling this shop. Why is this flipping ski shop the other side of the road? Why isn't it? What our producer pointed out quite lightly. Why the hell have you got to cross the road? I think it's because the guy, Mr. Tang, I've forgotten his first name, who wrote this. He's from Australia. I don't think he's ever been skiing. I don't think he knows what skiing is. I think someone just said to him, we need a winter games-based game for your new fantastic mascot. We need to get him out of those mazes. We need to get him doing something middle class, because that's the sort of people that are going to be buying Spectrum games because they're so expensive. So we need to be doing a winter sport, skiing. That's the one, Tang. I want you to make him skiing. And this bloke's got, I live in Australia. We've only got one mountain that you're not allowed to go anywhere near. There's no snow anywhere. I don't know what skiing is. So he's watched Ski Sunday, and he's right. You go down a hill, and then he's watched some travel program where the bloke goes into the shop and buys some skis for $10 back in 1980. God knows how much that was. And that's what he's done. He's you cross the road, get your skis. There'll be no lives. You start with $40, and then you go up the mountain. What happens to the skis when you get to the finish line that you then have to go and get more skis? I understand if you break the skis when you hit the tree when you're skiing, but why is it you go through the finish line that your skis just disappear? You got to go and get more skis. The higher people come and get them. You've had a nice day on the slopes, have you, Mr. Horace? Can we have the skis now, please? Your higher time's over. You'll have to go and get more if you want to do more skiing. Why can't he just give the bloke the $10? If he's come out of the ski hut, gone across the road to find Horace, say your time's up, mate. Give me your skis back. Just give him another $10. No, I want to go up again.
No, I played on a Spectrum emulator. I'm afraid I didn't even have the tape. I had to play on the emulator. I also played a little bit of the arcade version on an arcade emulator. But spoiler alert, the Spectrum version's the best one.
I agree. I have interest. You say you played on the arcade. Which version did you play? The Japanese original or the US version?
US version, I think.
Me too. I actually couldn't find the Japanese.
I couldn't find it.
No, I couldn't find it either.
Exactly.
I'm sure it's out there, but the one I played was the one that is the reskinned version that's like the Spectrum version. Yeah.
Yeah. But, it's not as good as the Spectrum.
So did you remember it then? Because I know in the first part you were sort of wondering whether, was it Target Renegade? I remember, blah, blah, blah. So you played the Spectrum one, you just think, that's the one.
Definitely. Yeah. As soon as I played it, definitely. And I definitely remember not having the patience to beat Big Bertha either, back in the day. And I didn't really have the patience to beat her this time either.
That is very, very interesting. I know how smells can bring back memories. Getting to Big Bertha brought back a memory. And it's exactly the same. I distinctly remember as kids sat around that rubber key Spectrum getting to that point. And I'm not sure we ever did get past Big Bertha. I'm genuinely not sure.
Yeah. I think if I put the time in now, I could do it, because I think the first level I just kind of cleared off with you've just got to be a bit patient, although there's a time limit. I'm amazed all these Spectrum games have time limits as well,
cruel.
Don't they?
Yeah, I'd forgotten there was a time limit. Yeah, when I first turned it on, I was like, I thought I was doing all right.
Yeah, well, that's right. Manic Miner as well. Manic Miner is hard enough as it is, the puzzle, but that's also got a time limit. And this is the same. It's got a time limit. So because you could be patient and just kind of like throw out a few punches and dodge them, punch, dodge, and that's the kind of way forward. And I'm not great at all these games because I don't seem to have enough. I don't have enough patience for it. Well, I do. I obviously take this very seriously. Very seriously. The amount of time on the review for Ghosts and Ghouls, for example,
Ghosts and ghouls.
Serious about it.
Ghosts and
goblins. Ghosts and ghouls.
We reviewed Ghosts and Ghouls, didn't we? Ghoulies and goblins.
Ghouls and ghouls and ghouls and ghosts.
That was your favourite.
You see? Yeah, you see, I take it very, very seriously. I'm looking at my notes.
There aren't any turtles in this, though, are there?
No. But it's so yeah. The first level was kind of like tried a few different tactics. At one stage, I thought the best way to clear the whole the first level was to go in the top right hand corner, and they couldn't get behind you, and they just kind of like queued up to get kicked to death. But then when the boss comes alive, he seems to like notice and gets away with it. Then I tried doing also going to the edge and then kicking them off or punching them off the platform, because then they would die. But then if they hit you off the platform, you die. So in the end, it was just flying kicks to clear the first level. What was your tactic?
Yeah, it was interesting. Well, people are now watching it. If they're watching it on YouTube, they're watching me play it. I played it 4 times through to record the footage. And as we've just established, each time getting to blooming Bertha was as far as I could get. So I made 4 attempts to try and get past Bertha. And just like Chris has said, I would return to it and probably could eventually, but time's not allowing. But yeah, turning it on and playing it, I immediately was like, oh yeah, I remember it. I remembered it straight away. I remembered, I think after like the first go, I remembered, oh yeah, when you get to like 3 men left on the screen, then the boss sort of comes alive, so to speak. He's sort of hanging around in the background looking cool, smoking a cigarette. If it was high fidelity enough on the Spectrum, he'd probably be smoking a cigarette, flipping a coin or something, or carving somebody's name into the train behind him with a knife, just sort of waiting his turn. So if you with that first level you've got, and the second you've got ledges, as Chris was saying, you can knock them off. So again, if you're watching the footage, you'll probably see that you either flying kick them off, which sort of knocks them back and they'll go over, or you can punch and kick them with your back to the ledge, then throw them behind you.
Throw them?
There is a throw move. Did you not notice the throw move?
On the arcade version, yes, but on the Spectrum version, I don't think I ever threw anyone.
Oh dear.
And I also would say that I couldn't always, when you knock someone on the floor and you can then go and get on top of them and punch them in the face whilst they're grounded. Yeah. I couldn't always do that. I couldn't tell you how you do it. You just sort of, sometimes I can get it to do that and sometimes I can't.
Yeah, it's not always easy to get on top of someone. But yeah, so if you get near that edge and you punch and kick them and knee them and you've got hold of their shoulders, and then you can throw them over the edge. But if you do that without attacking any of the other blokes, when then the boss comes out, you've then got 3 blokes who've got no energy missing. So one of the tactics is to spend some time and actually hit all of the guys, so at least all of them have had a hit and have got some of their energy taken off. So by the time the boss comes out, they're easier to dispose of, because the trouble is he immediately buddies up with someone, doesn't he? So as soon as the boss comes out, that's it, bang, he's glued to one of his mates. It's like they're holding hands. It's like they suddenly become Siamese kung fu people, and they.
Well, sometimes.
Go on.
Well, sometimes you get kind of like stuck on throwing a combo, and so then someone gets you from behind or whatever on the side, right? So you kind of. I just felt like the flying kick was the best, the most efficient thing.
There's no shin kick though. You're missing a shin kick.
Yeah, they could do with
the
a shin kick.
Fallback.
I suppose they just
move.
Yeah. But you used the word cool, but it is cool. It did make me think like, oh, I could definitely imagine that back in the day it felt like, oh, this is like a film. But even now, because I thought it was really cool how when they grab you from behind, they're not actually causing you damage until one of their colleagues appears to punch you in the gut, right? So, and then So he's holding you from behind, and you can kick the guy who comes at you. So it's really, I mean, that is like in a film, right? It's like, oh, he's holding me back, and you kick out, and then you headbutt him, I think, to get rid of the grasp, and then you can keep going, and that kind of thing. I thought that was really cool. I was trying to think, well, what kind of games are like this now?
This is a bit of a reverse of Fortunes as opposed to our normal episodes that we do, because this is one that you reckon you remember. Usually you is going, oh God, I bet it's hard. I bet there's no tutorial. Ooh, I don't know what the keys are. Ooh.
I can remember it as soon as I see the cover, the front cover. I can remember a sensation. Or I can remember a smell. There's literally, like, you can sort of see the cover. It takes me back into like a moment, and I could sort of like, there's something about just even the box, because I can remember it wasn't an ordinary cassette box. It wasn't like a cassette box you'd get with a C60, C90 tape. It was a black, more rigid kind of bendy box. I don't know how to explain it, but have a look it up. I'm sure if you owned Saboteur back in 1985, you also remember that it was a different kind of cassette box. It's probably got a special name.
This description's bringing it all back for you at home.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. It's taking them all back to those bedrooms.
The smell. Yeah. You remember the smell of Saboteur. It's not a deodorant, is it?
I think
like
it's
high karate. There's no 80.
Oh, the Saboteur.
Oh, the lady loves Saboteur.
That's going to be great watching the video of you doing that. Like a Calvin Klein ad. Get your abs out. Okay, well, anyway, should we...
you tell us all about it, Chris. I shall sit back now and listen to my cousin Christopher explain to you all about
all the young people. You always do this bit.
No, this is your turn. Remember it. You like it. You can remember how it smelt when you opened the massive box that wasn't plastic.
It wasn't massive. It wasn't massive, and it wasn't cardboard. You thought it was cardboard.
What you were saying earlier on before we came on air. Oh, it was ever such a big box cardboard. It was. Ooh, smelt like Monopoly. That's what you said.
It's a ninja game.
And we'll see you after the break. Come on, what do you do? What do you do?
We should just cut it right there.
Who made it? Who made Saboteur?
All right, okay. So my intensive, intense, in-depth research. I remember it was from Durrell Software. So now, how do you pronounce Durrell?
I think you find it's Durrell.
Durrell. I think it's Durrell.
Well, I know you do because you're middle class.
Durrell Software. We could phone them up.
Maybe it's Welsh, in which case it'd be Durrell.
They're still in existence, Durrell Software. We could phone them up and ask them how they pronounce it. Or just phone them up, wait for someone to answer. It's Durrell Software or Durrell Software.
Or they then say, oh, I thought it was Durrell. Are you sure it's Durrell?
We could phone them up and ask them for a copy.
I'm going to do that. Those of you who are listening now and watching the video, I will actually do that. I'm going to phone them up and see what they say.
Well, because the funny thing is, Wikipedia at least says that the company is still in existence, but they don't make games anymore. They make
adult movies.
No, they make accounting software.
Almost the same.
Well, actually, we'd be okay phoning them up because they'd understand our accent because they're from Taunton, Somerset. Hey. We'll fit in with them.
I expect they're near the cider factory.
Yeah. So Durrell was formerly a successful video games developer.
Was it?
Yeah.
Arcade.
So, but yeah, no, look at you.
He's translating it for our non-West Country residents. It was Spanish last night, West Country this week.
Yeah. So, anyway, so basically, it's a ninja game.
Right, ninja.
Side-scrolling,
scrolling.
What I think you then go to if I remember rightly, you don't arrive in Saboteur 1. You arrive by boat, you're going infiltrating.
Yeah,
a little dingy, a little dinghy, Avon Rubber, made at the Avon Rubber factory. Was it a West Country Ninja again?
Yeah, that's why he instead of shurikens, he throws cheese.
But yeah, kind of looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I should point out this is the part in the podcast where we try and remember the game as best as we can. We haven't played it yet. We will do that later on. We will take a pause after we've bored you silly with us trying to remember all about the game, and then we'll play it and come back and tell you what we think. So I think that's what Chris is hinting at, that he's excited that this might actually be a game that we enjoy playing. I'm not so confident. I'm trying to be positive because I said at the beginning of the podcast that I would be, but I'm not as confident. I remember this being one of those games, and I think it might actually, now I'm talking about it and remembering it, and yes, I again played it at my neighbours next door who had the rubber keyed 48. I never learnt the phrase before, and I think this was where I learnt it. Was pixel perfect jumping, and that whole thing of the jumps that are in it from platform to platform, you do have to get right to the edge of whatever ledge it is that you're on to make the jumps. And I know from it was Matthew Smith who made this, and I know from watching interviews with him, there's a lot out there. If anyone wants to see him, I'll try and put some links in the video on our YouTube channel when this eventually goes out, that he did make some sort of practice rooms. And that room, this game's made up of an awful lot of rooms, as Chris describes. Once you've got the various things in the room, you get to the exit and you're on to the next one. I'd like to say they get progressively harder, but I think they're just hard anyway. I'm not sure that there's not much ease of progression to ease you into the difficulty. I just seem to remember them all being really, really hard. But yeah, he made this room to see whether the jumps were possible, how far the character jumps. And unlike Mario, that has some sort of control in the jump, sort of mid-jump control, height, speed, length, and all that sort of thing. Well, this is you just walk and you jump, and it's an arced jump. You've got no way of controlling it. So you have to do everything pixel perfect. And I think, I'm pretty sure this is the game where I learned that word and learnt the misery of what that means. That real.
I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say you'd learnt a swear word or something. That was the first time you.
learned. We used them when playing this. I think we used all the ones that an 8-year-old knew.
I'm gonna be rubbish at playing this. I've changed my mind. I'm not looking forward to playing it.
3 minutes in and he's already not positive. Wow, well, our positivity lasted well there. I think that's fairly good for modern man.
It was a record.
Positive for 3 minutes. That's pretty good. In 1983, I mean, back then, we've already said it. There wasn't much else that was like it. I was struggling to think of another game that was like it. I'm not even sure if I played a sort of platform game in that sense.
Hold up. I think it is. He was influenced by a game on the Atari, right?
Yes, Thingy Minor 29er.
Yes,
but I've never played that.
One of my mates
Atari. So,
well, no, I wouldn't have played that. You're right. A few years later, when we did move house, had a new neighbour, kid my age. He had an Atari, and we played some. I can't remember what Atari he had, but we played some.
Did you?
Yeah, sorry. You dropped out.
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah, because some of the games he had like a soccer game, which was awful. I mean, Match Day was. Yeah, I can't remember.
On the Atari, an awful game, was it?
Yeah,
really? That's lost us some viewers. Me hinting that the Atari might be bloody awful.
Well, What? It looks like.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah, we only like Spectrum now. Those are the episodes that do well. Spectrum. Mention Spectrum again.
Yeah.
ZX.
The ZX Spectrum by Clive Sinclair. Clive, I've completed it, Sinclair.
Yeah, those are the games that get us the big.
Who was knighted in
hits.
1983 when this game came out?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, not because of this game. I dub you, Sir Clive, for making Magic Miner. Well done. You were so clever. Did you make those games?
I still can't get over how he managed to copy all of them every night to sell them in W.H. Smith's.
With his double tape player. Yeah, God, he must have been busy. He was always down Woolworths getting MTDKs.
Did he have to hand deliver them to Menzies and Smiths and Woolworths?
No, he had children on bikes.
Yeah. I think that was the origin story of the Paperboy.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, he actually is. Yeah.
He wasn't delivering papers.
You're not even joking. That actually is. That's it.
Oh, my word.
And when he got angry, it was like, what beast?
Shin kick. So, let's get on to Jetpack.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know what Jetpack is, the two people out there, these young people that for some reason Chris thinks are listening to us, old farts going on about Spectrum games. It's an arcade-style shooter. Came out in 1983 on the Spectrum and the VIC-20. And when I was researching this and realised that it came out on the VIC-20, it put me in a bit of a quandary because I had the VIC-20 before I had the Spectrum. In fact, it's the first computer I owned. So I actually suddenly thought, I might have played this on the VIC-20 and not the Spectrum, and played it on the Spectrum much later on. But anyway, there we are. So it came out on the spec in the VIC-20, which was the Commodore computer, if you're not familiar with the VIC-20. And in 1984 on the BBC. So this, for once, I can't say my usual line of this came out on absolutely everything, because it didn't come out on that much. Obviously, being an early title, perhaps there weren't many platforms for it to come out on, but just the specky, the VIC-20 and the BBC, which I was surprised at. It's made by Ultimate, Play the Game. The basic idea was to shoot aliens as you fly around with your jetpack, picking up pieces of your rocket. Your rocket's been sort of split into various different bits on the screen, and you collect them. So you start with the base, and then the middle, and then the top. You pick them up, drop them, they drop onto the top, and it sort of makes the rocket for you. Once you've made the rocket, then you pick up these bits of fuel that are lying around, and again, the same, you fly over the top of the ship, and they automatically, from memory, I think they automatically drop down and fill the ship till the ship is full of fuel. Once it is, it takes off, and you go to the next level, and it's pretty much the same again, the next level, once you've done that.
Really easy game then.
Yeah, easy. Yeah, I remember it being very, very easy. So don't you worry, Chris.
I am racking my memory, and I get a dreadful feeling that it wasn't that easy.
Well, it was quite an early one. It was 16. You worked on the 16K because you had the 16K Spectrum.
Yeah,
didn't you,
yeah.
initially?
So what we've learned, being old people playing these old games, is that the general attitude was to make these games as hard as possible right from the very first level, right? So, and now I'm thinking, I can't think if I got very far in the game. I for sure played it. I would have been 10 or so when we had this game. Yeah. Definitely played it. I think it's a classic. It doesn't stick in my memory as well as Manic Miner. So yeah. What I would like to know, though, is why is it called Jetpack without a K?
Hello there, it's me, William Shatner. Well done for getting to the end of this video. If you did, that's probably because, you got no life and absolutely nothing else to do. Or you really like what's going on in these videos. If you do like talking about retro and games and all that sort of stuff, then this is the place for you. In which case, hit like, subscribe, and comment underneath. And we're sorry that this was just like a rip-off of all our other videos that we've done before because we couldn't be bothered to do a new one. But then Clive mentioned that at the beginning, so you probably don't want to hear me saying exactly the same thing at the end of it. Because ironically, that's pretty much what a video's been about. Anyway, stay lucky, and don't forget, TJ Hooker is playing repeated on telly. Not just that Star Trek rubbish. I mean, I have got a life. I did other things. Like, TJ Hooker.